Welcome to an interview with the Runner Washington. I am glad to have this kid right here, Cooper Quigley of Selah High School, junior. Phenomenal cross country and track and field season. And he joins us here for an exclusive interview with the Runner Washington. Coop, I want to talk about all things cross and track, but how's it going for you so far in these weird times we're living in?
Yeah, I just want to say, first off, thanks for having me. And so far, pretty good. Kind of getting back into the normal routine with school. Still hybrid, so we only go two hours a day for two classes. So still a little weird there, but it's been good to get back into racing, track, and cross country more. So yeah.
So your first race actually back in racing was in the fall at the Yakima Cross Country Media Champions. How did it feel to finally get back into action again, even though not necessarily ton of athletes were there, but it was the first race in such a long time?
Yeah, it felt pretty good to get back. Just in, like the race feel and just feel out the race, how it would kind of feel going into the season, a hopeful season that we had. I wasn't really overly trained for it. Kind of didn't really train that much, so kind of didn't perform as what I wanted to. But it was a good experience, and I know what I needed to do to get back up to where I wanted to be.
So how's the training been so far in the off season to where you are right now?
Yeah, so after that race, I had actually had no surgery in November due to like a sinus thing. So after sitting out for about a month, um, in just late December, I started training up again, and that went really good for cross country training. And then now in track train, our cross country went straight over into track, it like overlap. So that was pretty good, and I was pretty in my peak condition. So just try to better that going into the track season.
Talk about this cross season. No 5Ks, but a bunch of 4Ks. I mean, you ran some really, really impressive times, like a lot of those 4Ks in the 12-minute range. How did you feel you did this cross country season, even though it was one, you didn't have a state meet and it was just an odd distance to run rather than a 5K?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely 4K is a weird change running 5K, trying to just figure out in the first few races, just feeling it out, feeling the new distance was kind of how to adapt to that. But I felt pretty good going into the last few races. Especially after I ran like the 29, I felt pretty good after that. I was like, okay, now I know. I kind of wanted to run a 5K, but then didn't really. We never really ran any. It was just 4K. So it was good though to get to run some fair too, the 3 mile. That was really good
Yeah.
race.
Talk about Sunfair. Your first ever, and it's a huge deal to win Sunfair.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So Sunfair, my whole plan was try to go in. I knew there was like so there's a kid from Sunnyside and some Connell kids that I was like Down Price, a couple of those guys. I knew going in that they were throwing down some fast times, and I was like, okay, kind of because they've run 5K, so I was like, okay, I kind of looked at it and I was like, okay, this is where I think I should be, my 4K time compared to 5K. And then just went out there, kind of just went to race for the win, not no time necessarily, and kind of sat the first. Felt really good actually throughout the whole race, and then just waited and made my move with about 800 to go. Made a really strong move.
And Reed Weaver is no joke of a runner. He's had a phenomenal
For sure.
season, at least in the cross country side. I haven't seen what he's done in track this season, but he's a much improved runner for Sunnyside. But I mean, you improved by over a minute when you ran that as a freshman, and it's insane what you've done. I mean, plus you're running against guys that are like Stanford Smith in that race. Okay, now it was your turn to be the top guy in that race. How did that feel going into that race, knowing that you were the number one guy?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. Kind of going in there. Obviously, it wasn't huge as Sunfair usually is, just because the COVID numbers were limited, kind of. But yeah, I felt good going in as number one. Kind of knew, okay, like I got to perform. This is the meet. I need to perform to like push myself out there more and just try to take the win and go from there.
So with Shay moving on to Idaho, you have to take the big hands. You're the leader of this group. And this is a group that lost a lot of people on this team last year that made it to state. So what was your role this season, not only just as a leader, but as the number one guy for Sela?
Yeah. So this year, yeah, filling the role for Shay was a big role to fill because I've known Shay for a while, and just running with him was really good throughout my high school career. But the role, yeah, I had to fill was kind of this year. We looked at it as going in. We have a lot of freshman and sophomore guys. So I think here in a couple of years, those guys will be throwing down some really fast times. So kind of coming in, wanted to make it so give these guys like the experience of a normal season, even though it was like a shortened season. So we did everything pretty much regular. We just couldn't have a really cross country camp, which kind of was a bummer for me, but especially for those incoming guys, just another way to connect. So yeah, we just try to connect with the guys out of practice, in practice, um, get the mileage under their feet. Cause I know coming from middle school running to high school is a really big difference, just that piece. So just trying to get the miles under their feet in the feel for cross country and hopefully have a full season next season.
What was your biggest takeaway from that cross season?
Yeah, probably my biggest takeaway is like don't take time and training for granted because like who knows, like maybe we didn't have this season or like so always train and always think you're gonna have a season no matter what and just keep running.
And of course, you make the quick turnaround to track. I mean, off to a hot start running 4:23 in that mile. When you ran that first race of the season and practically you soloed that race the entire time, did you feel like there was something about to click this season there? It's like, wow, I think I'm about to do some pretty damn good things this year.
Yeah. So yeah, going in, I know like it was like a week or two prior to that, we ran like it was like a cross country time trial just on the track, like our last 2 weeks of cross country. And I ran it was like a 4:32 or something like that. And I was like, okay, I know I should not be like here. I should get down. So that kind of motivated me to really put in start turning up for track. And then yeah, going into that race, I kind of just like I didn't think really about any time. I wasn't thinking about my splits or anything. My coach, Coach Becker, just told me go out, race it, and have fun. And that's what I did. And I just crossed the line at 4:23. And then I was like, and he told me it was like, he's like, you just ran 4:23, and I was like, okay, this is about to be a really good season.
In the next race, it was the Selah time trial, and you ran 9:38, which was a good time for you as a middle distance runner because that's what you're predominantly known as. The
Yeah.
following week is at 1:56.45. It's your first 800 since the state meet. How was that race?
Yeah, so that was really I wasn't really sure. I was like I talked to Shay on the phone and I was like he's like, "Dude, I swear if you don't break 2." And I'm like, "Oh, I know I need to break 2 cuz my freshman year at state got like 2 flat .08." So that was always like a kind of a joke between me, John, Shay, just and some other guys in the team. But yeah, going in there I know I wanted to run wanted to try to get to be the top runner in the state for the 800. Um so just going in, wanted to shoot for like a 157 right around there, and then start from there. Yeah, I started out, got out fast. Just felt really good, and then I crossed the line. It was 156, and I was really happy with the performance.
Next race, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Was this when you broke the school record in the 16?
Let's see next.
4:16 on
Yeah,
April 17th.
was that Ellen's? It should be
That was at Ellensburg.
for the six. No, the 16 I just broke this.
The 16 you just broke. That was the one at the Clark County
Yeah, that was
Distance
yeah,
Carnival.
yeah.
Well, we can talk about these next two races, and since they were unattached races.
Mhm.
How about that Olympia 32, man?
Yeah.
Everyone knew it was going to be such a big deal. It was the biggest race we've seen in such a long time. It might have been one of the greatest races we've seen in the history of Washington. Take me through that night and what it was like running on such a historic occasion.
Yeah, it was just I'm so grateful to be part of that race because it was just insane going in knowing like okay like you can see the seed times but like in reality like those don't matter like these are like the top runners around the Pacific Northwest like this is like the elite competition you'll get this season. So I was just going in, the night was just running under the lights is like just something magical, and just having like Ethan Coleman, Evan Jenkins, Isaac Teeple, Zach Munson, all those top tier really long distance guys and mid distance, just having all of us in one place was really something special, I think, and it proved to be a lot of those fast times. So it was a great race. Had a lot of fun. Just the atmosphere there was insane.
The crazy thing is you weren't just the only 2A guy in that top 10. There was two other guys.
Yeah.
What does that say about, I mean, obviously Sawyer's gonna be graduating this year and Zach is a year behind you. But I mean, what does this say about the 2A class that we've seen the last couple of years? Because you've got to experience racing against some of the best at
Yeah.
either cross state or in track.
For sure, yeah. So I think, yeah, honestly, 2A has been pretty slept on. So I think really this last year when Elias and Shay and all those guys kind of came through, that's when it started to really pick up. And I think right now we're kind of on a roll, and I hope it's gonna keep rolling throughout after I graduate. Yeah. So I just think the 2A's something pretty special because it's like, okay, you're not huge school, but you're not overly small. You're just like right in the middle. So it's like you got pretty good competition. So it's really fun to race in 2As.
Yeah, I back you up right there, man. I went to a small 1A school, so I know what it's like to be not looked down on and not really recognized for the talent you have there. But Clark County, man, the next couple of weeks after that Olympia invite, I mean, technically it was a true mile, but you broke 4 for that 15.
Mm.
What was the mental preparation in for that race, knowing that because once you get down to that 4:16, it ain't easy to run faster than that.
Yeah.
You did it, and then you ended up finally breaking your school record.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So yeah, once I got that 4.6, first off, when I got the 4.6, I got 4.16 in Ellensburg. And then I came back the last the we call it a championship meet, our last through the school track meet. Ran 4.16 again, but PR'd. It was a lower 4.16 than the previous one. So I was like kind of a little like I was happy that I PR'd, but I knew I could do better. So yeah, going into Clark County, I just wanted to really run fast, and I knew like going in, signing up, fast group of guys like Washington, a couple Washington guys and Oregon guys, a bunch of Oregon guys. So I knew that he would be fast, and just to get out and try to, I knew I wanted to go for the school record, but didn't really care more so much of like what place, kind of just try to get that school record.
And I didn't see the race exactly like I did with the Olympia meet. So talk me through the race and how it was. I mean, we had like 4 guys under 4:15. Yeah, four
Yeah.
guys under 4:15 from Washington. So give me your perspective of the race.
Yeah, so the race was it was kind of hectic. So getting out, so they actually waterfalled all 19 of the runners in our heat on one line and shot the gun off. I kind of got out a little slower than I wanted to. First lap kind of was sitting in lane 2, probably around the 10th place range. Coming into like lap 2, 3, try to move back inside because I was like on lane 2. Got a little boxed in. That kind of discouraged me a little, just getting boxed in there with like a lap to go. Try to move out, get out of the box a little bit, but couldn't really get out till like the last 100 meters. Then got out of it and just try to give everything I had for the last 200 meters. But it was really it was kind of a strange race because they didn't tell us beforehand, but we had a pacer, and he actually took us through the first lap at like 61, and then the second lap was like 66, and everyone was like, what is happening? And then he like dropped off after that. So yeah, it was when I saw 61 on the clock, I was like, wow, this I gotta hold on. This is about to be a fast race.
I'm not trying to run back to back 2 minutes and try to break 4
Yeah.
for my mile right here. But I mean,
Yeah,
you're running for
exactly.
your life and you broke that school record.
Yeah.
Just looking back on this year, obviously now your season's over with. And for those that don't know, you were a basketball player. You're not playing basketball anymore now. And to give that up is pretty challenging. So now the focus is on the fall. And you
Yeah.
are one of the top guys coming back in the 2A, but not just 2A, in the entire state as well. I mean, your class is insanely good. And you talk about Ethan, Evan, and Isaac. It's an insanely good group of kids. So the goal is obviously to maybe win a state title, but I feel like there's more than that. So what are your hopes for the next fall and the spring season next school year?
Yeah, so definitely win a state title. That's a huge goal. But besides that, just try to get the young freshmen and sophomores on board. I think we'll have a lot. We should have a pretty strong group of some junior guys too. Hopefully string together a really good team. Get those guys summer training because that's pretty much the most important thing about going into cross country is getting those summer mileage under your feet and just coming into the season ready to improve and work. So hopefully take down a hefty goal, but take down the Seahome. That would be to win a state title. So yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
that's a pretty
yeah,
gutsy statement right there, since that team's won it for many
yeah,
consecutive years. But hey, anything's possible when you toe the line in Pasco. Cooper, I appreciate you, man, coming on here and talking about this. And for those that don't know, Cooper is a phenomenal videographer for Selah High School athletics. So please give his videos a
thank
check
you.
out. If you think mine are cool, check out this guy's work with Premiere Pro, wherever he uses. But like, it's some good stuff. So Coop, I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah,
And
for
best
having
of
me.
luck the rest of the school year, and I'm excited to see what you can do this next fall.
Yeah, thank you.